Hello, welcome to my channel. I've been creating art for over 40 years, but I have never created a plein air painting in oil. And today I've decided to do it. It is Christmas Eve, at least right now when I'm filming this, maybe not for you, but I've come out to this park to find an interesting composition to paint. It is super bright here on Christmas Eve. And the forecast last night said it was going to be high about 50 degrees, but very cloudy. So I'm really surprised that there is so much sun coming through. So I can choose to do a scene where there's a lot of filtered light, a lot of shadows. But I think I'm going to start pretty simple. So come with me, let's find a good composition to paint for my very first oil plein air painting. The park where I'm at is also a disc golf course. So you'll see some baskets here and there when I'm trying to find my composition to paint. This place is also very echoey. I hear some construction in the background here. There's a road right over here where some cars are coming past every once in a while. So that may interfere a little bit with my painting process, but I'm not gonna let it affect me one bit. I'm on my way to get some reference photos. I'm not gonna travel too far away from my truck. That way I have easy access to it whenever I need it. So just walking along the path here on the disc golf course to the first hole to see what I can come up with. The compositions that this location has yielded are interesting, but may not quite be what I want. I think this location will be much better in the springtime when the trees and bushes are budding, maybe even flowering, maybe even some ground flowers. So that might be something to look forward to in the future. But we'll see. We'll go walking around a little more to see if there's any other locations that would be better. That was hole 1 of the disc golf course. I'm on hole number 3 now. And this is kind of nice. I think just like hole number 1 over there, great compositions, but I think it'll be much more interesting during the springtime. Kind of all that pretty stuff we look forward to in the spring. So I think I'm going to hold off on that one, but we'll see. We'll compare it to the next one's coming up. I like these compositions a little better than the ones previous, just because it's more of an expanse. We can see some background, we see some medium ground, we see some foreground obviously, and that might make for a better overall composition. So I think I'm going to set up right over there beside the little shelter, not too far away from the truck, and I got a bathroom right over there too, so this is all helping out. Again, I'm new at this plein air painting stuff, so I'm learning this stuff. I've watched some YouTube videos, but this time it's my turn. I'm gonna get my stuff set up and start painting. Here is the palette for today's painting. We have titanium white, way too much cerulean blue, French ultramarine blue. We have a new color for me, and it's called light crab gray. And obviously that's gonna be in the sky mix, maybe even in some of the vegetation mix. We have yellow ochre, cadmium, yellow pale hue, rounding out the lineup for today, burnt sienna. And I also have my jar of turpenoid. I'm using a store-bought canvas panel. It's double primed, but I went ahead and lightly sanded it with 220 grit paper. And then I took some of my golden acrylic gesso. I primed it twice, 2 coats of it. First coat, let it dry. Second coat, let it dry, and then lightly sand it again with 220 grit paper. Uncap my terps. Get a good soaking. So I'm going to use a very thinned out yellow ochre, very, very thin. And then I'm just going to cover that canvas to tint it up. The paint's going to run, no problem. I like running, and the paint likes to run too. And you'll get little specks of stuff, and that's okay. Stories of Claude Monet when he's painting at the north coast of France, where he's at the beach, and the wind's blowing and little bits of sand gets into the painting. Some artists will heavily tint, and that's fine too. I'm just going to lightly tint this. Squeeze out my brush, and don't worry, I will dispose of any paper towels, rags, paints. I'm going to dispose of that very ecologically. Then I'm going to take the paper towel and kind of wipe down. And so it's just tinted just a little bit. Gonna take this number 2 filbert, and I'm gonna take this yellow ochre again. This time I'm gonna mix it a little bit with this crab blue and just a touch of the burnt sienna. This is what I'm gonna use to make my sketch, kind of give me an idea of where things are gonna live. I'm gonna start with the background horizon line, kinda nice and light. Different artists will paint the sketch lines with different colors, blues, greens, violets, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You'll find in your paintings, if you're a painter, you'll find in your paintings that you can really use whatever color you want, and you'll find what's good for you. I want a little more blue. There we go. That's more like it in the background especially. And my brush is just kind of scumbling across. Since this is my first plein air oil painting, and not my first oil painting, believe me, I've painted lots of oil paintings, but it's not my first oil painting, I am going to be very restrictive on how many trees and things I paint on this painting. Now I have my preliminary oil sketch finished. I'm gonna let that dry just a little bit before I start adding a little more paint to it, start building up the layers. When you're building up layers, you want to start off very thin and go to thick. What I mean by that is it's thinned out with the turpentine and it moves across the canvas super fast. But then as it dries and as we build up layers, we want to reduce the amount of turpentine that we put in there, and we can also add solvents like linseed oil or whatever you want. And also as we build up layers, we want to go purpley to local color. So we start off in the back kind of hazy, grayish purple, and as we move up closer to the viewer, we want the colors to be a little more defined. I forgot to put on my palette some alizarin crimson and some cadmium red hue. That was my fault. I'm so sorry. I apologize to my palette. Even though a lot of the scenery is brown, I want to kind of stay away from the brown. I'm going to block in my darks. It could be a little more red up front here. I'm just going to block that in. I'm going to green up my color just a bit for this area here. Now I have to come into this with very low expectations, as this is my first experience with plein air oil painting. So if it doesn't look quite right, that's fine. My plan is for the upcoming spring and the summer is to find a local workshop, plein air workshop for me to take. I just want to improve my skills. Even though I've been painting and drawing, creating art for 40 some years, it's always good to get refreshers to discover new artistic experiences. Now that I have a map, a framework for my composition, now I'm going to really go into the painting with a little more deliberate brush strokes. I'm going to start with the sky and then move myself forward to the foreground. Here I'm starting to thick up the paint a little bit because I don't want to overdo the sky. I have a tendency to do that. Oh, that's all right. We'll just scrape that away. And nothing ever happened. An important psychological aspect of plein air painting that I have learned over the years, not from actually doing plein air painting, but studying it through art history, especially the Impressionists, is to elevate the ordinary. So a simple little landscape like this to be brought to the point where it's captured in a painting, and hopefully a good looking painting when I'm done, to look at the things around you and see the beauty in the everyday. I don't want to go too bright with the yellow. Don't want to go too dull either. Yellow's a very pesky pigment. to work with, in my opinion.
Day.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Oh, I already did. Tie my personal best and even beat him.
We'll take it. What do you think?
I love it. This each little switch mark can mean everything or nothing.
Yeah, it does. And have a good one.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you very much.
Beautiful day for you.
Oh, it's been great past couple days. Well, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Have a good Christmas.
See you. Well, I think I'm done, at least for now. I may go back into it a little bit and touch up some things here and there, but I don't know. I may just keep it the way it is. Post in the comments below, how do you think I did? Please give me an honest critique of how you think I did on my very first plein air oil painting. I'm running out of sunlight. Look at this beautiful sunset God has given us today. I gotta get home, but first I gotta clean this place up. Then I gotta get home, clean myself up to head to church for Christmas Eve service to celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Until next time, go out and explore, go out and imagine, and go out and create art. Bye-bye.